Okay, everyone, we'll go ahead and get started. We have Coach here, and our first question will go to Greg Hunter.
So, Coach, let's just start general. The last week, what have you guys been doing in practice? Any injuries to report? Well, what's been happening?
Throwing it around a lot, Greg. Haven't been real. Hasn't been a great week for our passing abilities. We're trying to get ready for obviously Texas A&M and what they do, and trying to just keep getting better, our execution offensively and obviously defensively.
Justin Jackson.
Hey, Coach, kind of going off the Texas A&M thing here. I guess it was reported a little earlier today that Ohio State has dropped out of that tournament. Not, sure how that might affect you guys or not, but is there any chance at all that the tournament, gets canceled, or, you guys have to look elsewhere to start the season?
No, I just talked to the lady who runs the tournament after I found out that Ohio State had dropped out, and she's already picked up another team.
Okay.
And that will play Memphis in the second game of the day. So I think, Justin, honestly, with the MTEs being canceled in Florida, there's a lot of people looking to get in a good MTE. And this one is you're going to play good quality people every game. So it's going to help.
Are you allowed to say who that replacement team is, or is it too early? Or
I don't know. I don't know
Okay.
I don't know if I am or not.
Okay. All right.
Probably. You want me to tell you?
Sure.
All right. The rest of you guys cover yours. It's St. Mary's.
Okay. Good.
Michael from WMOV.
You guys were among the best teams in the nation defensively last year. How have things looked on that side so far, and can we expect anything new this year, kind of from the standpoint of pressing or different zone defenses or anything like that?
Well, we're just trying to get solid right now. I'm sure that we'll do some other things, but not at this point in time. We're just trying to get the fundamentals and get the new guys and the guys that didn't get as much playing time, trying to make sure that they understand what we're trying to do. And I think when we're really good, we do a great job of working in unison, and that's what we're trying to work on, making sure everybody understands where the other guy's supposed to be and consequently where they're supposed to be.
Ethan Bach.
Hey, Coach. So a couple weeks ago, you said the Big 12 wasn't going to tell you about the conference schedule for a while. And then last week they came out with the conference schedule. Did that surprise you how quick it was in any way? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, they did tell us that it wasn't going to be out for a while. So I don't know. I'm old, man. There's not a whole lot surprises me anymore.
John Antonic.
I had my ears covered. I didn't get that, Hugs. What do you do to keep this thing from getting stale? Because you're not going to play a game now for another 3 weeks. You don't have any exhibition games. You guys are going against yourself. How do you keep it where the guys are sharp and fresh and the practices are the way you want them?
John, you know the answer to that. It's my effervescent personality. They've been good, man. Here's the thing. They have a day off. They're still in here. They love playing, and so obviously voting day. Everybody's off. Nobody can, and they're still coming in and getting shots after they voted. So they're going to be in here regardless. So they enjoy being in here.
When do you start digging into Texas A&M?
Well, we already have.
Yeah, I know. I saw one of their bigs was on the Karl Malone list, so I just glanced at their roster. They got a lot of size.
We got a lot of size, and Buzz does a really good job. They had some young guys a year ago that, it's kind of, you don't know if you're supposed to shoot or not supposed to shoot, or should I pass it here? And when you got all those things going through your head, you don't generally play up to your ability. And I think they're much, much better. They'll have a much, much better year this year.
Last thing here, what can you expect from those early games? I mean, obviously you got a veteran team, and you hear coaches talking. They say people that are dealing with pandemics, having a veteran team is probably helpful. What are your expectations early on?
Who said that?
A guy named Mike Carey. You ever heard of him?
Coach is women, man. That's different. I don't know. I honestly, I don't know if having a veteran team helps you or not. It's because we've never gone through this. We've never gone through what we're going through. Generally you don't want a lot of interruptions, and we've had nothing but interruptions, from the testing, and not that it's not, we need to do it. I think we all understand that. We really need to do it. That's not a knock. It's reality. It's you can't get into any kind of flow because you're constantly, something comes up that takes you out of the flow, so to speak. But again, I mean, I think the great thing for us is we have guys who love being in the gym. So they're going to be in the gym whether we're in there or not.
Greg Hunter.
Bob, what do you see from Kedrian Johnson? Besides being good offensively in junior college, he was also very good defensively in terms of stats. Is he caught on to what you want him to do defensively?
Yeah, I mean, it's a process, but he's getting better and better. He's talented. He's a very talented guy. He's far and away the fastest guy on our team. He can really get to the ball. It's just a matter of, him right now, he's thinking too much, not really reacting. But he's a talented guy. He's going to be a really good player.
We'll go to Nick from WVVA.
Like the Karl Malone Award list, Oscar's on that list now too, and even aside from the preseason accolades there, what have you kind of seen from Oscar that makes you believe that he's poised to play an even bigger role for you guys this season? Thank you.
Nick, you were hard to hear, Coach. I think he was asking about Oscar being named to the Malone Award watch list, and what are you seeing from him this year?
Well, I mean, I think all of those things are pretty much based on a year ago. The people who had good years a year ago obviously are going to be named on those lists, and I think it's a testament to what Oscar did and how impressive he was to people a year ago. And the challenge now is to continue to get better and continue to climb that list.
Justin Jackson.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, you're saying Kedrian's the fastest guy. Oscar's probably not going to like that too much.
I think Oscar, unless Oscar wants to lie to you, just bold-faced lie to your face, Justin, he is faster than Oscar.
On Oscar a little bit, and Derek, you went through last season working on playing them together, and they both talked a lot last year about how they had to work out spacing and get used to playing with each other, and it was kind of a process for them. I'm just kind of wondering what you see from that process this year. Is it going to look a lot different? Will they look more comfortable, I guess, playing together, I guess is the question?
I think they've been a lot more comfortable because they play together in practice.
Right.
Those guys are generally on the same team, and they play against our other bigs. So, which is good for our other bigs. But I think it's good for them. They're not, they're not pounding on each other every day. So, and they're offensively, they're working together. So I think it's a win-win. Just having those other bigs, generally you have two guys like that, and your next guy is 6'3" and skinny, so having the additional bigs that we have, I think gives us depth there, and they bring some things to the table as well. So it's been good for us.
So, I mean, obviously going up against another opponent, their spacing then doesn't sound like it'll be as much of a concern then as far as them finding the right space, I guess.
I don't think that's the problem. I mean, them running into each other, trying to both get the same rebound at times is, but no, I mean, their understanding of that has become pretty good, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, Cody Nesper.
Hey, Coach. Just are you expecting to use as deep a rotation this year as you did last year? Or, I mean, is that something you can even, make a determination on in the preseason, or do you have to kind of wait and see?
Well, I'm hoping that that's a big advantage for us in this MTE when you're playing 3 hard games in 3 days. Hopefully we'll be able to play a lot more people than what our opponent plays, and hopefully we'll be a little fresher and have a lot livelier legs.
We'll go back to John.
Hey, have you ever sat out a top 100 recruit like you did with JB? I know that was the plan, was to do that. And the other question is, had you not, would he have helped you last year, you think?
I think he would have really helped us last year. He was one of our better offensive rebounders, I think, at the end of the year, and he can make shots. I mean, JB gets on a roll. He really makes shots, and he can shoot it from deep, which stretches the defense. He's got length and good feet, so he's going to be a good defender. Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt. The way it turned out, we had it to do all over again. Knowing what we know now, we wouldn't have, because it's going to get this year back anyways, as Justin so eloquently penned in the.
I was going to say he could play 6 years.
Well, yeah, I mean, Justin had that in the paper. If you'd buy a paper, John, you'd know these things.
That subs too much for me, man.
Okay, Greg Hunter.
Hey, Isaiah Cottrell, you've talked about his skill. Things you really need him to work on so he can get to where you want him to be?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is physicality, which it's a huge difference from playing in high school and to playing at this level. But and then it's even a bigger challenge when you're playing against 2 guys like Derek and Oscar. And so, but he's learning. He's getting more physical. He's become much better as a rebounder. And the great thing about Isaiah is he can step out and make shots. You can't clog things up with him on the floor because he can step out and make shots.
Michael Casaza.
Hey, Bob, going on your rotation, I believe you had mentioned earlier, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, that you were going to be kind of hesitant to use newcomers. So maybe that's Bridges, maybe that's Johnson, maybe that's Isaiah, maybe that's just some combination of guys, Taj too. But do you have plans for when to use them, how to use them? Do you just not want to use them early because they don't have that exhibition, or is that evolving right now?
No, I think we all want to win, Mike. So we're going to do what we need to do to win. And I think obviously at this point in time, not having a scrimmage like we always were able to have, and not having an exhibition with the money going to charity like we have had in the past. It's those guys aren't getting any experience. Those guys haven't taken a jump shot in a Coliseum yet. So you know, it's going to depend on the opposition and what it takes for us to win the game. But again, they all bring something that we need. And like I said, in Isaiah's case, Isaiah can step out and make shots that Derek and Oscar aren't going to be able to step out and make.
Do we have any further questions? If you do, please use the raise hand feature. Okay, go ahead, Michael. Mike.
My bad. Yep, my bad. I wasn't sure which one. That's my fault. A bunch of coaches, different sports, talked about using kind of the spare time in the pandemic, the quarantine period, to revisit stuff and maybe devote attention to stuff that you would not normally have the time and the resources to. And you know, it could be a small area, a big area. Any type of that workshopping for you that was out of the ordinary that you probably wouldn't have looked at in a regular off season, but given your time this year, you did?
You know, no, because I haven't had a lot of time. Like I've done a bunch of virtual clinics, for different people and different organizations. I'm on the NABC board of directors, so I'm on a call of that at least once a week. I'm on the rules committee, so I'm on a call about that. I mean, I'm on more committees. I don't know how I got on all these committees, to be honest with you. But I'm on all these committees, and so it really does keep you busy. And then, the guys have the great thing about this facility is the guys like being in here. So, and they eat in here, and they obviously they work out and they lift, and so they're around all the time. So I get to spend time with them. So no, I haven't had time to sit down, and I really haven't wanted to be honest with you. I'm just kind of, I'm happy with what we're doing, where we are, and as you know, I've got a great staff. I've got a terrific staff. I mean, you don't get a better guy than Larry Harrison. Obviously, Eric playing for me, he's got a pretty good idea of what we need done as well, and then the rest of the crew. So I've become an administrator, Mike. How about that? I never thought that ever happened.
Okay, Greg Hunter.
So Bob, to follow along with Mike's question a little bit, what about recruiting in this new world? A lot of restrictions on you, very different. Can you be at all successful in recruiting, doing what you have to do almost all virtual?
I think you have to be, don't you? I mean, there's guys committing all over the place, even though they're, some of them are saying that they want to actually come to campus, but they still commit, So yeah, we've been on a lot of these virtual visits, and actually they're kind of neat. I mean, you kind of get to you do get to see campus and everything that we have here for students and student athletes. So I just like to be able to sit down and talk to people face to face. This virtual thing is, I think, for the time being, good. I hope it doesn't become a fixture in what we do.
Okay, if there's no further questions, Justin, you will have the last one.
All right. Coach, I appreciate the plug earlier.
Hey, Justin, I open that paper up and I go right to local. so I can turn the page on local and get to the sports and see what you're writing about on that day.
I'm kind of curious here, man, on, you look at the stats last year and, it'll tell you that you guys were last in 3-point shooting last year in the league. I also see, you also have a team that forces a lot of turnovers, is the best in offensive rebounding. So you create a lot of points in other areas. But I'm just kind of curious on what you think you need from 3-point shooting this year. Is that a stat that will tell a lot, or maybe not something that you're concerned about as much because of the makeup of your team? I'm just kind of curious on where you think that mix might be this year.
Well, I just saw something, I think, Mess, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we shot 22% from three a year ago. And that's not good enough, obviously.
Right.
But you know what, Justin, I wouldn't be afraid to put John McNeil in a 3-point shooting contest with anybody in our league or anybody else's league. He can really shoot the ball.
Right.
Taz struggled a year ago, but he struggled because the injury, and then he got sick, and he just didn't have a good year. But it really wasn't his fault. By the time he kind of got going at the end of the year, they shut us down. But he can shoot the ball. JB can shoot the ball. I mean, we've got guys who can make shots. I would be totally stunned if we didn't have a good year shooting the ball from beyond the arc. I think we have guys who can make shots. But the reality of it is, Justin, I want us to be built for the days when we don't make shots.
Yeah.
As well. We had practice yesterday and we couldn't make one. We just really struggled to make perimeter shots. And it's kind of refreshing when you continue to see the ball bouncing off the rim to know that Derek and Oscar and Isaiah and Gabe and those guys are waiting right there to be able to get their hands on it and do something with it as well. So, I want us to be well-rounded. I mean, obviously we've got to shoot the ball from the perimeter a lot better. But I mean, go back to the Oklahoma game. I mean, we missed 22 shots inside of 4 feet.
Right.
That's hard to do, but we did it. And we obviously you can't do that either.
Yeah.
And and in spite of shooting 22% from 3, I think we win the Oklahoma game if we just make half of those 22 inside of 4 feet.
Okay, Coach. I think we'll turn you loose. No further questions for you. Appreciate your time today. We'll talk to you next week. If media could stay on here, we'll have some players as they come in from their academic commitments. So please be patient. Thank you. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, Miss. So thank you.